Hi, it's day 3 of the Hungry Ghost 21-day reset, and we're continuing with the grounding theme for day 3. And yesterday we focused a little bit on identifying where the origin story of the habit that we're working on is coming from. And today I want to just focus a little bit on what we are going to do when the temptation comes up to not follow through on abstaining from the thing that you chose to abstain from. It's very unlikely as a human being that there won't be temptations, right? So, and it's even, unfortunately, it's pretty important for you to understand that the likelihood of you slipping up is pretty high. And if we can go about that in a way where we have compassion for ourselves and we can just pick up right where we started the next day, awesome. But what I'm more concerned about is when we slip up and then we think really low of ourselves and then we don't continue on the thing that we promised ourselves that we would do. And I think that's a lot of why people don't abstain from things occasionally, is because they're afraid they won't be able to complete it, and that feeling just doesn't feel very good. So for the purpose of today, I want you to just have a plan. If I slip up, this is what I'm going to do, which is the next day I'm going to just do the same thing again, and then have a few things in mind to hopefully avoid that from happening too often. So what I'm recommending in the workbook is to have an incantation or an affirmation, something that in those moments you might be feeling weak, to have something to go to. I'm stronger than this craving. Or it can be a song that you sing yourself, or it really can be anything, but a go-to thing that you can do when you're feeling like, I might slip up. But then keeping in mind that there are moments where it could just be completely autopilot and you didn't even realize you did it. Or it could be by accident. Say you ate something and you're for the cleanse, you're doing a sugar abstinence project, and you realize that there was sugar in the pasta sauce that you had, right? And a part of you could be like, well, I already had sugar, so I might as well go and eat this thing that's super sugary and completely sabotage it. Or you could be like, oh, I slipped up and I'm just going to, everything else, I'm going to make sure it doesn't have sugar. Yeah. Say you're at a party and you just forget, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're drinking a glass of wine, and then the next morning you realize, oh no, I said I wasn't going to do that. Does that mean that you just give up the entire abstinence project? No, you can journal about, what were you thinking when you didn't follow through on the thing that you said you were going to do. You can let that be a learning experience. Like, oh, I have to be a little bit more mindful because I just go right into my autopilot. This happened to me the other day. I was at an event and they were giving out free drinks, and a part of me was like, oh, I don't really want to drink. And then later in the day, I was like, oh wow, or earlier I totally forgot I was on this abstinence project, and I might have had a drink and not realized it. It was one of those moments of thinking about how easy it could be to just absentmindedly do that. Especially if you're not identifying as an addict or anything like that, but you're just trying to take a break. But especially so if you're identifying as an addict, because a likelihood of you beating yourself up is a little high when we're calling ourselves that. So yeah, that's the main assignment for today, is to just have a game plan and just think about times in the past where you tried to abstain from things and it didn't work out. And I think what's really great about this project is it's only 21 days. So you can just tell yourself, oh, I can have that in 21 days. It's not a big deal, right? So it doesn't have to be forever, but you might find at the end of this that you do want to let go of the certain thing forever. There are certain things that I'm abstaining from this time that I am considering maybe just giving up forever. And in the past, when I do my fall equinox, I also give up coffee. I also give up grains. I also give up animal products. And I knew this time around I had too much stressors in my life and that I couldn't give up those things this time. So I'm still drinking coffee. I haven't yet today, which you can probably tell. But the idea is to just be compassionate, to be realistic. If you went into this abstinent project like me, where you're abstaining from like 15 things, you know, maybe you cut down on that a little bit. You know, I am an intense person. Maybe you don't need to be as intense. I'm still abstaining from quite a few things, but not as much as I would normally. Okay, so how to be compassionate, how to have a backup plan, and then have a mantra or an affirmation in mind that you can go to in those moments where you're feeling weak. Maybe even having someone you can call when you're feeling weak. You can message me on here if you're having a weak moment. You can, you know, tell your mom like, oh, I might call you if I'm tempted to have a drink or to eat cake or whatever it is that you're abstaining from. Maybe a friend, someone who is going to be supportive and not be like, oh, do you want a piece of cake? Do you want a cigarette? You know what I mean? So be mindful of who you choose for that kind of thing. But these are all common sense things, right? We don't need a professional degree in counseling to know that we need that kind of support. All right, and then as for our grounding practice today, we're just going to pick up with what we've been doing, but we're adding a mantra to it. The mantra is so hum. So when you breathe in, you can think so. When you breathe out, you can think hum. But we're going to continue that grounding practice. We're going to continue connecting with our breath. And just like the other days, these are things that you could do throughout your day. So throughout your day, if you need to get out of a negative thought pattern, or you're like obsessively thinking about the thing you're abstaining from, you can think so hum, so hum, so hum over and over again in your mind. Maybe connecting it with your breath as you feel your feet on the ground, all of that, okay? It doesn't need to be only in meditation. I tend to keep so hum just for meditation, just because I like mantras to work when I am actively meditating. They feel a little bit more potent. So you could always use your affirmation when you're walking. But there have been times in life where I've done the so hum meditation or affirmation just throughout my day. Okay, that's a lot to say to get started. So let your eyes close. And begin to deepen your breath. And again, if you feel uncomfortable having your eyes closed, just focus them on one spot. You just don't want the eyes shifting all over the place. Feeling into the weight of your body on the earth, wherever it's connecting. Noticing the temperature in the room. Any smells. Any light coming in through the eyelids. And taste in your mouth. And you might even imagine that as you breathe in, the sound of your breath is making the sound so. And as you breathe out, the sound of your breath is making the sound hum. We're just going to continue that for a little bit. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. And you can continue this for as long as you like, as often as you like, up to 20 minutes, a few times a day. If any of the temptations do come up, if you do end up breaking your abstinence project for a moment, journal about it. Tell yourself about it, tell the story, and try to have a compassionate perspective as you're doing it. Okay? See you tomorrow.